Get ready to rumble! Bring the noise!
Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting match of Jet Set Radio Future Bingo. If it's your first time with us, here's what's about to happen. Two teams are about to race through the three boroughs of Tokyo in order to complete bingo board objectives. For every soul and character unlock they complete, they'll receive a point, and if they work together and complete 100% of graffiti in an area, they'll receive 3. And if a team works together and collects 5 squares in a row, they'll receive a coveted bingo and an additional 2 points. But they better watch their backs out there, because the streets take no prisoners, and each square can only be claimed by one team, and you don't want to be the team that gets sniped to a square. Oh, and one more thing. Teams will be playing with the co-op mod, which means tape pickups, challenge completions, and graffiti sprayed will be shared between both players. Good luck everyone, it's time to play Jet Set Radio Future Bingo! And we are back. After a short anime break, Jet Set Radio Future Bingo has returned with another season. Today we've got an exciting match lined up for you as we have a team made up of 2 titans of any percent. They're both here to bring the hype. It's Ryomi and Yayo Della Riva from Team Hypebeasts. And versing them today we have 2 legends hailing from the streets of New Amsterdam. They're both ready to zip all over the competition. We have Nago and Shovelclaws from the Unwantables. And in the commentators box today, we have the duo that was shocked when they found out I was a bad electrician. It's 7th Ace and Eclopricious.
Thanks, Bats. We're back.
Another classic. We're back. Welcome back to JSRF Bingo. It's been a long time, but as you can see, we've been busy.
Oh my god, we've been so busy. So it's been 9.5 months. Everything got completely busy last fall, and nobody could actually do bingo. but everything's been so exciting for JSRF ever since GDQ was accepted. When Yamsa's run got promoted, and there's been a whole explosion of JSRF any percent and bingo and all that kind of excitement lately. And we have the start of Season 6. We have, as AceBat said, Team Hypebeasts in the brown and the Unwantables in red. It's going to be a heck of a match.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this to be the starting match as well, because this is probably like 3/4 of the people who've been practicing bingo the most coming into the season. Ryomi, Yayo, and Shovel have been putting a lot of work in leading up to the season. Of course, Shovel new to JSRF, new to bingo, or JSRF bingo at least, but has experience with Bomber Cyberpunk bingo. So there is some strategy that sort of translates there. And then you have the experience of former champions, Ryomi and Nago, and then Yayo, another new player who doesn't have bingo experience but has a lot of JSRF experience. So we have so many different elements coming into play here. It's going to be so exciting.
Yeah, I really cannot wait to get this started. If we are ready to get started, we don't have to wait any longer. That sounds really great. As we get into it, Go has been called, and let's take a look at the board. We have a couple new things on the stream layout. First off, we do have the points per area that are remaining at the bottom. So you can see there are 13 points in the Benton Darkside areas, 10 in Kogane, 6 in Shibuya. So going to be a fast kind of Shibuya section into a lot of the other parts of the map.
Yep, kind of a classic JSRF bingo start then, with things like On Top of Bus, South Hayashi Center Square, so good, and then Shibuya Tricks 25 as well. Other than that though, not a lot in Shibuya, so it's going to be about who gets the initiative in these Shibuya squares, and then gets out to the other areas which are relatively balanced in their value. Benton with a couple more points. You got that STPP graffiti though, which is quite long.
Yeah, there's 3 in RDH, but I want to point out 6 different squares in SDPP, Skyscraper District, and the teams are off. We'll see where they go first. Ryomi, known for going into Shibuya, is going to be going into Shibuya to start.
Yeah, well, starting off, first game of the season, go with what you're comfortable with. It looks like there's going to be a race between Ryomi and Nago, and I wonder if Nago is going to take the race, or perhaps opt into something else here. It's actually Ryomi who doesn't go for On Top of Bus. So a bit of an adaptation from him, not going for the predictable play and actually heading into Chuo for South of Hayashi. But Nago hasn't read this play and is doing the same thing, so it's just going to be down to movement.
Yeah, it is down to movement. Even though Nago's playing on an Xbox and Ryomi is playing on emulator, we do have a load equalizer mod that will even these out. And the first blood of the season goes to the Hypebeasts with South of Hayashi Center Square taken first by Ryomi, and RDH top of station taken by Yayo.
Yeah, Yayo with some really nice movement as well to get to top of station, and now climbing up the rest of RDH. Shovel going all the way out to Highway 0 here to kick things off. And for that, there is the Special Soul, which is not incredibly fast, and then also points which you do unlock in the same part of the level. This, I don't think, is a particularly fast play, but it means that Shovel can at least be uncontested on this part of the map.
Yeah, I think this is a more of a longer-term play for Shovel. It's indicating to me, at least, that Shovel does not want to leave Darkside this game, period. So it's an initial start to Highway 0 into spending the entire game in SDPP is what I would predict out of this.
Yeah, getting out into SDPP ahead of everybody else with that many points on the board makes a lot of sense, as long as you're not going to be contested there. And, well, the Hypebeasts revealed where they were in the early game, so it's a relatively safe play here for Shovel. Nago still in Shibuya trying to clear out what remains here, but it's a strong start for Hypebeasts in terms of point lead and in terms of board control as well.
Yeah, center square is always very good. The RDH squares are not well positioned overall, but overall, there's still a lot of opportunities. There's the row 1 dark side bingo that exists. Please note the colored text at the top with the area tells you which section of the board they're in, similar to the outlines that we had in previous seasons. So yeah, lots of improvements for your benefit, the viewer.
Yeah, so you said those RDH squares aren't incredibly strong, but they do at least cut out a potential column 5 bingo, which would be relatively straightforward for the Unwantables to be able to pick up with Shovel uncontested in Darkside, but that's immediately cut out by that RDH points. And now slight lull as the fast early game squares are kind of taken off of the board.
Yeah, Shovel just marked points 90k, so that's its first bingo square debut. Congratulations. Is going to be a little delayed into SDPP though. Did not go ahead and pick up special, just unlocked it. I would imagine. I actually didn't see it. But instead, Ryomi is actually going to take the first square in SDPP with Air 4 marked.
Yeah, this is interesting because the idea of going out to Highway 0 this early was that you got the initiative into SDPP, but Ryomi gets what he wants in Shibuya-cho and then actually arrives in SDPP ahead, starting up the graffiti route already. That's another Ryomi classic.
Yeah, bottom point graffiti also being sprayed by Yayo. If there's kind of early game predictions, or based on what we've seen out of the practice, the Hypebeasts love their graffiti. They will do graffiti early and often, and we can see that here as Ryomi is pre-spraying a lot of things that are being passed in Skyscraper District, and Yayo is going ahead and uncontested cleaning up bottom point. So we'll have to see how that play works for him.
Both of the Unwantables are in SDPP right now, working on the absolutely massive amount of points in the area. It's going to be difficult to predict exactly what Ryomi is doing by himself here, but certainly they have the advantage to the graffiti, which means a fair chunk of those points will go their way if they fully commit to this.
Yeah, again, 8 points in Skyscraper District. What a start to the season, as Ryomi going for that Tricks unlock seems to be on the right path for it. Looks like Nago just unlocked Tricks as well, but is not in the neighborhood, and neither is Shovel, so neither of them will be able to pick that up before Ryomi, and Ryomi, even just solo, is just ripping off possible points here that could be going to the Unwantables, and that's really, really important in 2v2, is that if you're 2v1 in an area, just take a couple points and make it not worth their 2v2 time, or their 2-player time.
Yeah, this is a really awkward position for the Unwantables to be in right now, because look at that column 2 bingo building. They don't necessarily want to dip on this SDPP graffiti, knowing that Ryomi's in the area because they need to be able to deny that. And then bottom point graffiti is secured. It's a massive point lead and incredible board control from Hypebeasts in the early game.
Yeah, this board positioning, it almost looks like the Unwantables wanted to go for call 5, but Yayo's opening play completely stuffed that, and now they're not just in a bad position for board state, I would call it dire, because they only have squares in one column. That leaves 4 bingos just in columns available for the Hypebeasts, and a row on row 2, which is not particularly difficult for them to get from this position. So
yeah,
it's a really difficult spot.
Now.
Oh, Shovel just missing a jump.
That's an awkward fall.
Yeah, but that's not too bad. We'll be able to grab a couple extra points, keep working on it. They're at 16 out of 40 on the graffiti route. I don't know exactly where Ryomi is. He'll probably spray something here, but he is going to take another square in top of Observatory as Yayo is now headed out to the pocket. That's crazy. 8
air
points.
Tricks and top of Observatory.
That's just such a strong position to be in for the Hypebeasts right now.
And like you said, yeah, with 8 points in the area, Ryomi already picking up 3 in a 2v1 situation. Got to be happy with that, because this leaves Yayo free to do whatever he wants everywhere else on the map.
Yeah, for reference, Nago has not marked a square in 5 minutes. Shovel has not marked a square outside of SDPP in 4 minutes. So this is going to be... we're hoping that this works out for the Hypebeasts, or for the Unwantables, rather. But this is looking to be a messy situation with how much time they've devoted to the longest graffiti route in the game this early on.
Yeah, and even locking in this SDPP graffiti at this point is just damage limitation. It doesn't put them in a comfortable position. It doesn't give them a win condition. It's just denying that massive swing of points that the Hypebeasts would be able to pick up with either the graffiti or the bingo, or what would likely be both.
Yeah. Yeah, this is and to say nothing about Skyscraper District being a hard co-op. The map is very open, very non-linear, and while the route is pretty good at going through it in a particular order, you have to have good communication to be able to determine what parts have you done, what parts have you not, and work as a team to figure that out or use the map. There's a lot of skill involved with that, and it takes a long time for that to develop. It's not particularly easy.
Yeah, and leading into the season, we've had, a lot of our players have been practicing in the bingo server, and we've had all sorts of different matchups and teams playing together, not just the set teams that are in the tournament. But I would say Yayo and Ryomi have been practicing as a unit together more than any of the other teams.
Correct.
And
absolutely.
That gives them perhaps the advantage in terms of that synergy, just of knowing what each other wants to do and trusting each other's judgment.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into 2v2 bingo. It's why it's a favored mode among our players and our spectators, as Yayo marks Hikage points 300k, puts the Hypebeasts at 12 points. New to the season, we have the score required to win there right next to the timer. 15 needed, no bingos available for the Unwantables, so they will have to deny all but 2 squares for the rest of this game if they are to stay in contention.
Yeah, it's a really big uphill struggle here, and honestly, it came off of that opening play of Ryomi not doing the predictable move, winning in Shibuya-cho, and then getting out to SDPP ahead of Shovel, just being much faster around the map, and then letting Yayo just do what he wants to do, pick up points everywhere else on the map uncontested. Strong early game translating into a very comfortable mid-game lead.
Yeah, I definitely think that works in Yayo's favor, based on the preseason stuff we've seen. Yayo, as you mentioned, extremely capable any percent player, but does lack the bingo knowledge that is really 50% of this game. So if you're letting Yayo get away with not doing a whole bunch of bingo stuff, you're giving him his greatest strength of just being able to mop up an area with his unlimited amount of JSRF experience, more hours put into the game than anybody else, easily.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Shovel.
yeah, I think if you want to beat this team, you have to attack them, and you have to force Yayo into situations where he's going to be contested in areas where he's going to have to think on his feet, because that is one of the skills that you don't necessarily have from running a lot of any percent. You're following a predetermined route throughout the whole game. In bingo, you have to be able to think on the fly and adapt in the moment to things that are happening, and Yayo really hasn't had to do that at all this game.
No, and that's credit to sending Yayo where he's strongest. That's it's a constant battle of how that works. Right now, 37 sprays for the Unwantables, but Hypebeast catching up in the low 30s right now. If they can figure out what needs to be sprayed on both sides, 33 now, it will be a close finish here regardless. Shovel may be in the area to clean up the last 3 if the route's been done in the expected order here, so might not be too much of a finish, but that does give the Unwantables a good bit of time back, as Yayo and Ryomi have been spending a lot of time on this.
Yeah, bringing Yayo in to try and snipe this graffiti away was very aggressive, because there was still plenty of things that he could be doing elsewhere on the map. It's not necessarily the right play from Hypebeast, but it's certainly the demoralizing play, because if they snipe this away, I think it would be very difficult it'd be impossible actually for the Unwantables to come back in the game. It would absolutely end the game outright, but it is locked in for Unwantables. They get their points after a big commitment of time in SDPP. Game is yet to be decided, but they still need to deny all but 2 remaining squares on the map.
importantly, though, Ryome was low on health and actually had to spend a lot of time finding a little bit of health, then getting out. Yayo still locked into Skyscraper as well. So there is advantage out of Skyscraper for the Unwantables. This aggressive bingo snipe play, or STPP into bingo snipe play, is not working out for the Hypebeasts, and they are finding themselves ahead in points, but on the back foot in map position. So while it might take just a little bit of time, and I would definitely call them favored, they're going to have to scramble a little more than they might have liked to with their dominating lead to start this game.
What's really interesting to me is nobody went deeper into Darkside. Everybody left. Nago's in Jazz Race, and everybody else is leaving Bentoncho right now. There are still 2 points on the map in Dino and Highway 0, which if the Hypebeasts had realized and taken, that would mean they just needed a single point to win the game out of everything else left on the map. The ability to split the map would have been really useful for them. But of course, no confirmation on exactly where Nago or Shovel is. Don't want to get contested in those areas and get sniped in a situation like this, where the Unwantables do have an angle back into this game right now.
Yeah, they definitely have one, with Nago picking up Jazz. Not going to be the best square, but if it locked one of the Hypebeasts into that race, if they made that read, oh boy, that would have been such a power play. Instead, Nago does get the moral victory for the Unwantables, picking up Jazz, though.
Yeah, so only 3 points in it right now. The Unwantables with that SDPP graffiti clawing back some much needed points, but now it's all the prediction game. You have to know where your opponents are going to be in order to deny them, because it is so close to a victory here for Hypebeasts if they just pick the right areas on the map.
Watch the bottom right, top left. Shovel entering Fortified a little bit faster, but already having a little bit of movement issues. This is where Ryome's practice is going to pay off in spades. Shovel not as practiced with especially the Fortified map as someone like Ryome, just because Shovel hasn't played as much. And so we're going to see. This is 2 points. Points 50k and Tricks 100, with Ryome at about a 5-second disadvantage. It's going to be very close, and this will be a huge point in the game. If Shovel can maintain this lead and stick and land these 2 points, that will give a huge opportunity, 12 to 11 possibly. But if Ryome gets it, it becomes nearly unwinnable for the Unwantables. So it is going to be so close.
Yeah, even just trading 1-to-1 in this area right now is difficult for the Unwantables because, again, Yayo is uncontested, picks up Chuo, and then it would be just a single point to win for the Hypebeasts if they do trade in FRZ. Shovel going for the points unlock here while Ryome goes for Tricks, so we might see it split, but this means that Nago really needs to beat Yayo to absolutely everything now if they end up trading in FRZ.
Ooh, Shovel's not quite getting this Tricks. Also had a tough time getting the points unlock done as well. Took a second attempt. Now Ryome marks FRZ points, and Shovel's not getting this done properly. I believe, now check me if I'm wrong, it's been a long time. Do you have to be backwards for this one?
You do have to be backwards. You have to be having negative speed. Which I think is Shovel's issue here, is it's just not quite going far enough back on the rail. And this means that Ryome is going to pick up both of the points here, and just like that, that's 15. That's game.
Okay, so the game overlay is showing a few too many times, but that's okay. I definitely, look, it's a test, but you know, Unwantable, Hypebeasts have taken this game. That should be showing once, but not, you know what? We're going to stick with it.
It's day one. We just really wanted to show off the new stuff.
Yeah, it was like 8 p.m. yesterday when I got this implemented. It was late. It was like 5 p.m., whatever. But the game is set. Maybe it's as they get it. We'll see. I should have a protection in it. Damn it.
Maybe it's just because they're on 15 points. If they get one more point, it'll stop.
That's going to be the test we're doing. Once it gets 16, maybe it does it. Yayo going for isolated platform downhill and hopefully fixes my nonsense. Teams do look like they want to finish out the board. So
love to see it.
Always appreciate it. No, It's just gonna keep saying game. Hopefully it stops when it resets. Oh no, the humanity. Hey, at least it works. Oh man. Oop, are they calling it? I don't know. Yayo has nowhere further to go. In Dogen, the teams will split nicely, and that should be about it.
Yeah, okay, so Unwantables did a decent job in coming back in that game with the SDPP graffiti, but it was such an uphill struggle after the early board control established by the Hypebeasts. So that is game one locked in.
Yeah, you just have to wonder if they pulled the trigger on that graffiti just a hair too soon, and maybe could have picked up a lot of the squares, the graffiti souls along the way.
Yeah, Ryomi picking up 3 points in SDPP there in a 1v2 situation is so big.
Yeah, when you're spending 2 players' time to get 5 points as opposed to 1 person's time to get 3 points, oh man. It is quite a time. So, oh, that soul didn't get unlocked earlier. That's unfortunate. So,
Highway Zero special for the fans.
woo!
It's me. I'm fans.
Do it. Boo!
No!
Oh, go for it again. Nago can bring it back. Up too low.
Oh, it's so over. It's so over. Why do I even bother?
There
Yayo's
we
not
go.
even
Third
going
time's
for
the
it.
charm.
Yayo's just hoofing it.
Yaya's going for speed. Yayo or Nago with a small advantage. If they can pick up the square, and they do. Very nice.
All right, there we go.
First game of season 6. Oh, bingo ended. And 17-12 in favor of the Hypebeasts.
Yeah,
good
really. Yeah, that was an exciting game. A lot to pick apart, really, based off of the strategies of the two teams, and I want to see how the Unwantables adapt going into the next game, because they are up against 2 players with incredible movement, right? And Ryomi has been on the grind with any percent for so long. Like, he's super warmed up in the game. Does that change how the Unwantables want to play this game going forward? Do they want to try and attack and directly contest in areas, or do they want to try and play a more strategic game? Because in this game, they avoided going head-to-head with Yayo, which I think is a point that you can perhaps attack based on strategy. But then there was that early Shibuya contest between Ryomi and Nago, and it's like, kind of play into Ryomi's hands when you do that. Yeah, there's a lot of factors based on the players that we've got in this game that we could see adapted in the next game.
Sorry, we're Twinkie2's board didn't reset, but mine did. So we're on the exact same version of stuff, so I am we're working on it in just a little bit. Hopefully getting the tech sorted out. There's a lot of moving parts, but also just a couple weirdnesses. So no big deal. Strategy-wise, let's see here. We need to see a board, I would like to say. But if we're just kind of vaguely going for it, I want to see a little bit more of an aggressive early game. I want to see a lot more points. I want to see more points scored, which is kind of obvious, but I want to see some contesting. I want to see, quick squares picked up. Look for a pretty aggressive play if possible.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's an awkward position for the Unwantables because you don't want to contest Ryomi, especially in Shibuya, but also you can't just let this team do what they want around the map, right? It's kind of a catch-22 situation. I think maybe a different board gives them a bit of a different angle that they can take. Maybe something that doesn't have so many fast squares. I mean, this to be fair, of all the boards that we've seen, this didn't have that many fast squares. You know, we kind of saw the first 5 or 6 squares go away quite quickly, and then it was everyone into SDPP and spend 10 minutes in SDPP, right?
Yeah. Yep. We're. Oh boy. Oh boy. The tech. No. Okay. We got a new board. We got a new board. We got it reloaded. Sweet. Whew. Got the heart rate up a little bit, but we got a new board.
So bad news. There's a lot of early Shibuya souls
Oh
on
boy,
here.
that is a green and red board if I have ever seen one.
Hikage Cubby, Shibuya Air, Hikage Air, Dogen Right of Street. And then also 2 more souls in Hikage for the early Shibuya. Then there's also a lot of stuff in the sewers areas, which is something that Yayo is very comfortable with. He immediately he went into Kogane at the beginning of the first game, and it does feel like a bit of perhaps one of his comfort areas.
Yeah, but Yayo will be against Nago, and she's been the resident sewer rat for multiple seasons, so
that is
it's
true,
going to be very interesting to see exactly how that goes.
Yeah, a new school sewer rat versus old school sewer rat.
So.
And also very interesting that the only graffiti on this board is in Benton, where, you know, there's really not a whole lot else going on.
Yeah, there's Sky Dino, but I mean, it's a very interesting setup here, specifically across that row 3. You have Shibuya Air 3 very, very fast, and honestly, I'd be prioritizing it if, well, it's only the only Shibuya square. Bottom point Air 4, not great, but not terrible to get, and then you could just send someone into Dark Side, Sky Dino, default, Skyscraper, default, Sky Dino, Graffiti, and all of a sudden you're threatening a really strong play. So, you know, there's a lot of capability, but that means you are opting out of a lot of different squares that exist on the Kogane side. So we'll have to see where the teams want to go.
Yeah, I really like the position of the Benton squares on this board, even if there's not that many, because it's not easy to score a bingo without putting some kind of time commitment into going out to Benton, right? You know, Sky Dino under Brontosaurus in the middle, right in the center square, means someone's going to have to go all the way out there, and there's really not that much worthwhile out there other than that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Shibuya Rush early, this time from Ryomi and Shovel. It will be Dogen Pass Statue, Right of Street locked in for Shovel Claws. First point on the board for the Unwantables. Ryomi straight into Hikage, so absolutely defying expectations here and not going for the early Shibuya plays.
I still think this is typical, not typical Ryomi, but typical Ryomi of going where there are the most points in the Shibuya areas. There are 4 in Hikage, including 3 on the column 2. The problem is it is bingoed with floating pink half pipes and bottom point cube, which is gross. But, you know, it's working towards that. But it could be intersected with the possible diagonal that exists of the Unwantables. Again, intersecting at cube, but you have 2 defaults. RDH Platform Above Cops 2 and Sky Dino Brontosaurus. So again, 2 quick ones intersected with a really nasty kind of square.
Nago slightly ahead into bottom point here, as Yayo did pick up the RDH grind, which means that Nago may be able to make up that point difference here with the bottom point tricks. Right now, Shovel clearing out Shibuya with Air 3. And then into Chuo Street, so not contesting Ryomi, who's still in Hikage, which, as you said, is where a lot of the points are, where there's a lot of board control. So what is the Unwantables plan here by giving up Hikage?
I want to know, okay, Shovel is leaving Chuo. The only thing in Chuo is Chuo's special, and if you're going for Chuo's special at the 2-minute mark, you have to be cooking or you're crazy. And I don't think they're crazy. They're on the Unwantables, so... they have left, opting to go into Hikage. Very interesting there. Special seems unsnipeable considering Ryomi is 10 seconds from it. Points 300k still doesn't seem very viable, and Shovels seems to be starting a losing fight that may not go
Yeah,
well
I think
for
you
him.
have to just turn around and leave, right?
Yeah, I think this
There's
is a deep
only
commitment. You've
points
got the
left.
chance to get that row 3. And Shovel's headed back. Shovel's going to head out to dark side. I can only imagine Nago is telling it to go dark side, work on those 2, and then I'll meet you in Sky Dino or something and try and get this Bingo off the ground. Put a little bit of pressure onto the Hypebeasts here.
Right now, though, Nago has managed to force Yayo out of bottom point, picking up 3 points in that area, despite Yayo going in for the contest. And that means Yayo is back out to RDH instead, looking for the default soul there, and really just kind of trying to pick up the pieces after losing out a lot of points.
Yeah, a little bit of a routing slowness there from Yayo, not getting up 2 cops to quite as fast as... Ooh, look at that. Oh, got a boost for it. And get the slope. Not quite.
He got it
there
in
we
game
go.
1. Oh, there we go.
You can't do it
He
again,
got
though.
it in game 1,
you gotta
but,
get... Nice. Look at the...
I wonder
look
if he
at
continues to
Bingo
commit
Tech.
to this.
Proud of him. Dark Side Report. Ryomi about 5 seconds ahead of Shovel now, and that's going to be very tough for doing anything about this Bingo now that's developing for Unwantables. They're just not going to be able to get there in time, I don't think, to make it happen. So I can see
I think
Ryomi
Shovel
going for
has to
floating
play
pin.
reactive here.
Yeah.
You just have to wait and see what Ryomi marks and try and do something about something else elsewhere. Floating Pink is... It's there, but then there's also Unwantables as well as the Sky Dino Graffiti, which looks like that's what Ryomi's going for, and Shovel is also heading into Dinos, so Shovel just slightly behind the pace of Ryomi this entire game so far. But fortunately for the Unwantables, Nago has been a little bit ahead of Yago this entire game. Yayo is now into Bentoncho as well, looking to claim as many points in that area as possible, as board control is pretty good.
Yeah, I think it favors Hypebeast still a little bit. They have a lot more open opportunities. 3 bingos capable across row 1, row 2, column 2, where the Unwantables only have 2 across. Oh my god, Unabrotosaurus goes to Shovel. I was looking at the board and not realizing that Ryomi went to start Graffiti first. That could be a huge bait where a lot of points could be picked up ahead of time while that's occurring. For the Unwantables. So I think this is actually a really smart read from Shovel. Getting out of there, get some points elsewhere, takes a Bermuda Triangle, and starting Graffiti. That's not good, Chief.
No.
Obviously, we
How
have
long
God
has it
Vision
been?
here, but this is not the play you want to make when Ryomi hasn't marked stuff lately. Knowing the tendencies, you know that team wants to go for it. Now Shovel in a dangerous spot at 1 HP.
Yeah, this could be really dangerous for Shovel. But being able to pick up Unwantables here, this is a tendency I've noticed a little bit from Ryomi, is that he maybe tunnel visions just a little bit on the primary objective and doesn't necessarily pick up those extra points that are just kind of around, right? There's certainly a way that he could have routed Sky Dino here to pick up Unwantables whilst working on the Graffiti, but instead says, no, I want this Graffiti, this is my primary objective, and I don't care about Unwantables. Gets sniped for it, center square therefore goes over to Unwantables, which gives them a little bit more board control back that they were lacking previously.
Yeah, I mean, it
Still have
opens
the
up the
potential
column
column
3. Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, if I'm making the read against Hypebeasts, they love their Graffiti, and I will say it again, they love their Graffiti, and I said it in game 1. So if you don't see them, expect them to do it, and expect them to do it well. They're very practiced on their Graffiti routes. So if you can use that time that you know they're going to invest into Graffiti and do something else with it, try and force them into awkward positions, you can find yourself at a big advantage here. So playing the Hypebeast game is not working out right now. And even though it's 8-8, I'm concerned Shovel's going to be spending a lot of time not making progress in the position.
Yeah, this is it's kind of like a sunk cost fallacy, right? Because Ryomi hasn't marked in so long. At some point, Shovel has to realize that Ryomi is here and doing this. But Does Shovel then try and commit, try and win? Because it doesn't know how long Ryomi's been in this area if Ryomi has the advantage. Or do they just say, you know what, this isn't the play, we gotta dip, we gotta go do something else?
Yeah, I mean, there's still defaults on the board. We have floating pink half pipes, FRZ, Clip, Soul, Kibo, under wires. There's a lot of things that are still on the board that score more than this, equal or more for a similar investment of time than this graffiti. So I really, really hope that they can, as a team, figure out this route isn't working. Shovel is not having a great time here, and the squad needs to bail and find a new objective to go for, I feel like.
Yeah, and of all the things as well, it's Sky Dino graffiti. It's not an easy route, especially if you're new to the game. And you're up against Ryomi, who loves graffiti, as we've said, and is extremely experienced with the game. So it's just such a difficult contest. I think you have to just suck it up and say, you know what, we've got to do something else here.
All right, Ryomi gonna mark square or graffiti number 29, grabs the square, puts his team at a 3-point advantage. What out of maps are we gonna see? We've got to leave Sky Dino, nothing more. Time for out of maps, Ekla. Ryomi goes for
from this
that
position. Yeah, Ryomi going for the one behind the Trick Soul. Shovel can also leave from this position. Yeah, I like this one. It's actually the same death plane, slightly different way of getting to it. Going through the tunnel in the building. But this does mean Ryomi gets out ahead and gets the points. So good position for the Hypebeasts to win this game. Meanwhile, Yayo and Nago doing stuff elsewhere on the map. Nago still working towards the potential column 2, which could be a way, column 3 I should say, which could be a way back into the game for the Unwantables. What is Yayo going to do?
Nago taking a fall in Chuo Special is a tough one. That is a big sink of time for not a lot of benefit. And if Yayo gets caught in Chuo, that'd be a big problem, but Yayo is not. Yayo's going for Dogen 50k or leaving altogether, and looks to be on the right path. Again, 14 to win, right indicated next to the timer. And Hypebeast with 1 point here from Ryomi on floating pink half pipes is going to make this extremely close. Now, the points win does not take into account the possible bingo that exists. Oh, Yayo. But so it's not completely out of the question, but it's still going to be extremely difficult to get a dub. Yayo has no clue where he wants to go.
Yeah.
Maybe Ryomi doesn't know where Yayo needs to go.
Now, this is interesting to me because we know that Yayo does lack a little bit in terms of bingo strategy and bingo experience. Ryomi is more experienced in that, but in these kind of clutch situations, I have seen Ryomi struggle to make decisions sometimes at these late stages of the game in identifying win conditions. And if he's the one calling the shots right now, that may explain a little bit of Yayo's indecision as well. And right now, that means that there is still a realistic chance that this bingo goes over to the Unwantables and keeps them in the game. FRZ Clipsol is the only thing remaining, and I think it's going to have to be Ryomi rushing to get to that. Should be ahead of Nago to deny that, but now the Unwantables have got the Hypebeasts on the defensive. Even despite the point disadvantage, they've got the Hypebeasts playing their game right now.
Yeah, that's going to be almost neck and neck going into Garage here between Nago and Ryomi. Highway Zero Soda locked in now. Nago with a minuscule advantage, but a little bit farther to go into Garage. Watch the top side of your screen. Did Nago crash? No, dude. No.
It finally happened after all these years
Oh
of
my
joking.
god.
Nago's Xbox exploded.
Oh god. Shit, dog. I don't know what to make of that. That's a pause. Like, players should probably pause the game. That is awful.
Yeah, of all the times for it as well.
No kidding. Holy smokes. So what we need to do, it would be faster if they didn't reconnect into co-op. But there is a technical co-op possibility that would require Shovel to reload. So I think Nago should probably just rejoin. Oh, Nago can already rejoin. You don't have to do it. You just
the tag
relaunch
is
Bridge
working.
and join as a player 3. I propose Nago stands it. Gets like 3 seconds movement or something. I don't know. This is basically where they were. Yeah. Yeah, because everyone took about 5 to 10 seconds to pause, so we'll go ahead and do that. So, yeah, if you want to work with that with the teams in the Bingo Sync chat, have fun. Xbox Explosion.
Thank you, our resident Ghost Twinkachu, who was not present on the stream, but did pop in to help us out in that refereeing situation. Well, yeah, first game of the season, just ironing out some of the difficulties. Surely that won't happen again.
Oh man, it's got it all in this one. The only thing I'm hoping for is a game number 3. This is so unbelievably close. Still, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I think what we've seen so far in this game too is a bit more of the game that Unwantables wanted to play, which is a bit more of a strategic game. We saw a little bit of indecision from Hypebeasts. We saw a better split on the map where, Shovel was getting beaten by Ryomi, but you can kind of expect that. And then Nago beating out Yayo in a fair few areas, in important places as well, has helped to keep this game even.
Yeah, it is very close, regardless, and I really do like the game that has been played so far. Just a couple of, moments where you go, okay, we've had, oh man. Yeah, the difference is a little large right now. Look at this, Nago now. Ryomi false started just a bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a little unfortunate. That could make the difference here.
Yeah, you
their
hate
body.
to see it. Game is being called by the system repetitively. Technically, it is not, as a bingo is still available, but I cannot imagine that, due to the unfortunate circumstances, that Ryomi misses the clip soul here. That's that's a tough one. That's a tough one, Chief.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. We had a real close game that was definitely still competitive at the very late stages here. Nonetheless, though, still a good start to the season. I think, we got to showcase what bingo looks like in 2024. New players, new tech, and
New
plenty more
everything,
good
yeah.
bingo to come.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. Game has been marked. Tough way for that to go. I really, I would love to see them duke it out again at some point. Again, playoffs with 7 exclamation mark teams in the game, or in the season. The top 4 will go to playoffs. So I'm really hoping that they can, both these teams may be able to meet each other again and have a non-Xbox exploding match.
Yeah, it would be good to see the run back on this one. But yeah, that is the game 2-0 then for the Hypebeasts, picking up their first win of the season.
So, I think they're doing a little bit of chatting in the bingo singer. Oh my god, Nago!
Let's go!
Stall launch into Boogie / Pylon Warp. Goodness, so. Yeah, so let's get the anybody in that wants to chat and talk about the game.
Yeah, and While we
Hello.
wait for them. Oh, there they are.
Hi.
I
had
would
no
like
time to wait.
I would like everyone to give me appreciation for doing the perfect pylon warp to get to lower platform under wires. Thank you.
Yep,
Clap.
we acknowledged it. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
The only person unimpressed is Ace Bats, who asks, "Why didn't you do Kibo Mega?"
Ew, you suck.
I don't care.
Okay.
That's fair.
I mean,
Sorry. Didn't
you
sorry,
can
didn't ask,
simply not
don't
care.
Yeah.
True.
Has your Xbox ever crashed there before?
No. This is the first time it's crashed in there.
Oh, man.
That spot. This
Unlucky.
Xbox doesn't like. This is not the. This Xbox hasn't really crashed before. Like my. Yeah, I don't know.
It's not
It's
good
unfortunate.
using your webcam.
I will go for this square, by the way.
Yeah, no, my normal microphone broke, so I'm using my laptop's built-in microphone.
Ooh,
Unfortunately.
yummy.
Yeah, the other one is my other cam is broke, or my other mic is
Margot's
broken.
just having a tech crisis everywhere right now.
Well, it's been broken for
Yeah.
like a month, so
This has just been Naga's mic to me. Frankly.
yeah, exactly. You don't know any better.
Yeah.
This is so sad.
I
Anyway,
just assumed
thanks
Naga
for playing
was a
bingo,
gremlin.
everyone.
This is fun. I miss
Thank
playing
you
bingo.
for, kicking off the season.
Only a
It's a
couple
good-
things
good
completely
business.
exploded, but nonetheless, it was still a great time had by all. We're sitting with more people than have ever watched JSRF Bingo, which is always very exciting. It's fun to share
Let's go.
this thing that we find so much fun with a bunch of people. So
Yeah. Shoutouts to ECS in the chat. My goat.
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this is the biggest season of bingo ever. The most players, the most production value, and now pulling in the most viewers as well. It's great to see this little.
To be fair, every
passion
season has
project.
the most production value. I feel like
hey, hey, hey!
Hey, toxic.
that's a compliment. I'm complimenting you.
It's
That was the
true.
most-
I appreciate
Like-
it.
I am. Like, why am I getting yelled at?
No, you're
That
right.
was the most
We only-
autistic
it is-
compliment ever.
All right, let's go.
No one's impressed you, Grammy.
Yeah.
So I'll ask some questions about the game. Game 1, there are 8 points in Skyscraper. Sup?
Well, so
Yeah.
I was like, I'll do. I forget what area it was, and then I was like, yeah, you do Dark Side, and I kind of like implicitly bent Skyscraper. I don't think that, but that was not communicated. I think. So
You think?
that's probably my bad for not specifying like you should probably do Skyscraper first.
Yeah, I didn't realize until after I'd already kind of committed that. Oh, I should just be in Skyscraper right now, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the
Probably.
commitment that you made to Highway Zero meant that Ryomi actually got into SDPP ahead of you.
Yeah.
And with those, 8 points on the board in SDPP, and 2 of you in there versus just Ryomi still managed to pick up 3 points, and that was really kind of what the game was decided on, I feel.
It was 100%. I just made the wrong read
And we
there.
were 3 sprays off from finishing it as well.
That was the most
Yeah.
aggressive play possible from y'all. I cannot believe that you tried to clean up the
Yeah.
graffiti in that.
I mean,
Oh.
it was a
That was a
winning
weird
play.
route I was doing, right?
Yeah.
It was a weird route we were doing as well. I was like, I had to
Yeah.
constantly ask someone like, so what did you spray? Like, I have no idea what I need to do.
Yeah, learning to co-op routes, especially the bigger routes, is a skill in and of itself, I think.
I think
For
Jayo
sure.
came in when I was at like 24 sprays or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, Ekla is right. Especially Skyscraper. I feel
Oh
like
shit.
I don't know. It's complicated. I don't know to co-op.
Oh, it very
Yeah,
much
I mean,
is.
you
and
kind of have to
It
have.
could be, yeah, it's because
a plan
it's
going
like you
into
think
it.
that like the different areas are like easy to split up, but they all take like different amounts of time to do. So you have to like kind of like the person that does like the shorter areas has to like kind of improvise like a route like in real time while your teammates like communicating to you what needs to be sprayed. Still, it's not ideal.
yeah, the
Mm.
communication is so important in 2v2 bingo to be able to communicate where are we going, what is our general plan, getting 2 people on the same page in such a fast game is really important. So And it is not easy by any means, and that's where you see a lot of the improvement develop throughout the season, as players do pick up some of their mechanical skill and whatnot, but also routes become tighter. People just get more effective at clearing out a map.
Yeah, I mean,
and going to where they need to.
I was going to say a similar thing. It reminds me of when was it? It must have been Season 3, right? The Ryomi Ace team. Where you started off, I think it was FRZ Graffiti, and that was a nightmare.
Oh, no.
And then you ran it back later on in the tournament, and you did it so well. Like, that development of learning to work as a team, and just the experience of playing game after game after game, we're definitely going to see those improvements as the tournament develops, especially as we're going to have more games than we've ever had.
Yeah, it's going to be super fun, and also, oh my god, our tech and everything is just going to be working like crazy.
Tech looks sick. It looks really nice.
Appreciate it. There are 21 matches this season. Minimum of 42 regular season games of bingo. Then you've got at least 7 more going on. So we have over 50 games of bingo to bring to you in the next 2 months. It's gonna be a time.
Bingo has got
The
intended.
next one is tomorrow. And that's going to be Unhandled Exception versus Rollerblades. So that is Daft and Miku versus Naestranus and Losa.
Oh, that's going to be
Those are 2 blessed-ass teams, man. That's going to be great. I can't wait to commentate that shit.
4:30
right,
Eastern.
yeah, we have...
10:30 GMT.
I think...
Plus 1.
9:30.
9:30 GMT, 10:30 CET.
That's one.
Yeah, and we
Best
have
time zone.
Team Fortress comms for that, right? We have Yomsa and Nago commentating that one. It's going to be very exciting. I'm so looking
Yes,
forward to
both with different pronouns than when they play together.
that. That is the JSRF Bingo special.
Don't look at Season 1 VODs. Everyone's like, oh my god.
do not. Season
Violent
1 is
misgender.
not real.
That is the meta of JSRF Bingo, evolving over time.
JSRF
Not the
bingo
gameplay.
better than hormone replacement therapy.
Oh god.
No, I disagree.
What
So
else?
true.
What else? Game 2 had the Ryomi special of a bunch in the Shibuya areas, and then also a bunch in the Kogane areas. We kind of lined it up as Yayo new sewer rat versus Nago old sewer rat, as kind of a fun matchup.
I love
So
sewers.
how was that? How'd that board go for everybody? Any inputs?
That board actually wasn't that bad. That was a good board.
I like that board. I thought it was a fun board to play.
I was 100% like, I'm just gonna grab shit in Hikage, and if I don't see anyone mark anything in Skydown, I'm just gonna fucking rush over there.
Yeah,
And
I realized
basically
after
what
Well,
we
went
did.
for the
Probably
default for some
play.
odd reason, but
Yeah. I think we did literally the same routes, effectively, like both teams.
I also fell in Skydown like 10 times, but
Yeah,
I
well,
did
Shovel
too,
also.
don't worry.
If
I
you
was
fell in,
betting on Shovel being bad, and that's why I
If-
got that square.
if you fell
It's
in
weird.
Skydiner 10
More-
times, Shovel fell 20 times. It
Or
was
bad.
Let's
it was a real early season Skydiner graffiti route.
Yeah. It was just the
So-
beginning.
It is just the beginning. You've got 5 more matches guaranteed going forward, so that'll be really exciting. There's so much bingy.
Can we get a word from our other new player, Yayo? How are you feeling after your first win?
Pretty good, honestly. That second game was weird for me. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys saw everything, right? I was not expecting Nago to go from, I think it was Dogen past statue or something.
That was me. I got Dogen.
Yeah, no, that was Shovel.
Then I don't remember what was your opening square, Nago, but I was not expecting you
My
in
opening
bottom
square was
point.
I just went straight to bottom point. I completely
Oh.
ignored the RDH square that you picked up.
That makes sense, because like And then like I think my play makes more sense now because I went there to get grind 10, which is like I think the fastest one, and
Yeah.
just got out.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's an interesting kind of thinking one step ahead kind of strategy because RDH grind 10 very quick, but if you go for it, Nago then knows that they can beat you into bottom point and get everything in bottom point.
yeah,
That was interesting, and that was a good adaptation in game 2 because game 1, I don't think the Unwantables pressured you enough specifically, and in game 2 they kind of adapted to that with you know, putting that pressure on you in Kogane. And yeah, I mean, game 2 was really, really close, and I really enjoyed watching that.
yeah, for sure. It was a good game, honestly. We felt the
Fair enough.
pressure for sure.
All right. Any shout outs from anybody?
Shout out to Yamza_bunny.
Yamza, please give us content.
Go live, we'll raid you.
Live, we'll raid you.
Oh my god.
God, I hate that.
Oh my God. Pack it
All
up.
right.
I'm planning
I'm
on
obligated.
the rest of the
Don't
Don't even
season.
remind me.
Goodbye, everybody.
Oh,
We'll see you
it's
tomorrow.
over. Goodbye.
Goodbye.